suck a dick and die.
Bammer. Bammer weed.
Bitch, suck a dick and die. Little basic ass bitch.
You got it in focus and everything? Okay. So, let me turn it down. What's up, everybody? It's Adam from Cutty Convos, Rebel Status. We got Frosty in the building with us today. And we got ShyGuyTy. This is my manager, my best friend.
Shouts out Ty.
What a great
Shouts
great
out
podcast.
Adam. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for, happy belated Ty real quick.
Yeah. Big old birthday. Hey, it happens as you get older.
Another year of greatness, another year of wisdom.
You want to talk about your little here, wait, where's your mic at? Didn't we give you a mic?
I think we're passing in, right? Or did you give me one?
Oh yeah, like we gave you a mic. This man, I'm like, where the fuck is this guy talking to me?
He's just talking. He's like, turn it up. I can't hear myself.
I thought you guys grabbed one. But
No. Okay, so.
Can you hear yourself? Yeah,
I can't hear you now for sure.
Vocals good. Vocals good.
Good. Okay, so we're here again. It's Adam, it's Frosty, it's Ty.
It's going down.
So yeah, Ty's birthday just passed. Today we actually have an event at Tiger Tap Room, right, in Oakland. Starts at like 6:30. Obviously this will already be out, but it's gonna be a fun time. Ty, you've been like knocking down hella fucking venues lately. I've seen you booking show after show after show. It feels like
dates. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, thank you. First of all, very happy to be here. I appreciate it. I couldn't imagine, it's my first podcast, and this is definitely the one I would want to do with the people I would want to do it with. So thank you for having me. There's really no secret to it. You just have to be persistent. The other day someone called me relentless, and I love that word in a positive connotation, because you kind of have to be. You have to be organized. I've emailed people from 6 months ago. If I don't follow up every couple of months, we don't get it. But it's really just emailing, formatting it properly, calling, pulling up, just networking with as much people as possible, because they're gonna help alley-oop half of these venues eventually too. But just about manufacturing those relationships. That's what it's all about, especially for what we're trying to accomplish.
I feel like that was one thing that really jumped out to me, like the first time I met you, is you were like, you looked me in the eyes and you definitely like made me feel like, okay, cool. This is a calm guy. This is a cool guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Like, it's not the type of thing where it's like, oh, I gotta watch out for this guy type of thing. Always got your best foot forward. Always trying to make the best impression. Always trying to make people feel good about themselves type of thing. You're really good at like gassing people up.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. That's exactly how I'm trying to, represent myself or give it off. It's just genuine energy. It is what it is, right? But for me, like, we all have our, trauma, our childhood, whatever you want to call it, and then it's not like it stops when we get older, right? But for me, like, I don't do 0 to 100 with my relationships. I start at 100 and work our way to 0. And now what that means for me is, when we meet people, we have these walls up. It's hard to like jump into friendships or relationships, especially nowadays, right? So for me, like, I'm just going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to trust you immediately. I'm going to put you on. I'm going to open up my network for you right away. And then it's up to you or me to ruin that relationship, right? So it's not like I'm going to tell you my life story. I don't expect to know every detail about your upbringing, but because I'm going to judge you, like, I don't care about your past. I care about right now and what that interaction is. So I try to start off at 100, and at least with this community, it's worked out because we all want the same thing. We're all looking for the same thing. We all want to do what we love full time and hopefully make some money doing it. But I've never heard any conversation I've had with anybody here, nobody ever talks about money first. And that's usually a really good sign.
That is hella real. Do you ever feel like, because I kind of feel like, I'm not saying this did happen in this day, but remember AF's going away party? Yep. I feel like that was like a day where you kind of met a lot of people that are in the community. And then ever since then, you've kind of like exploded. Like, I've seen you like go from like, the whole like FNG camp to the free play camp to obviously 1015's camp to, everyone in between. And it seems like everyone now, like, there are people where I haven't introduced you to these people and you know them, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, when did you meet this person?
Yeah, exactly. That was a huge launching off point for me. I've known Adam for like 4 or 5 years now, and we can never remember how we linked up, but we know it was through Instagram. And when Rebel Status was jumping off, I was starting to release my music on DSPs finally. I mean, I've been doing music for 15 years, but I kind of just kept it for myself. And we were like outside of his close friends and community, we were the only people like reposting each other's shit, like staying in touch. So then I would be coming out here slowly and surely. Then COVID happened. So after COVID, I mean, in terms of like opening the door and getting me in these groups, like I always name drop Adam, and everyone always immediately, makes me like part of the community and family. So really it's a testament to you and your relationships and what, you've been building here as well. But specifically to your question, like that AF's going away party was like a freaking rocket ship for me. Because hopefully, exactly like Frosty said, I'm giving off the same energy to everyone else, and it's just all genuine love. I want to. There's no reason why you shouldn't click like and repost your friend's music or tag somebody, even if you don't know them or not. Because really, that's the energy I want in my life, right? So treat others the way you want to be treated. So that's what I'm trying to do instead of just having an ego or being a gatekeeper or all that corny shit. That event was the beginning of the beginning for sure. And the funny part is Aft left right after that, right?
Did. Yeah.
And then me and him, have gotten really close over the last month to where, we're business partners now. We're thinking of crazy shows and crazy ideas and different kinds of venues that, we haven't done yet or we haven't seen yet or we haven't seen in a while, right? No idea is an original idea, but that AF's going away party was a huge jumping off point for me because it just introduced me to everybody. And then I'm seeing who they're working with. I follow every videographer, photographer that you guys tag in your music videos or whatever. Yep. It's something as simple as that. And I'm not like in people's DMs in their face like, yo, I know Adam, let's be friends right away.
Yeah.
It definitely got to be a little bit more organic. And again, because it'll come off corny and it'll come off like I'm trying to get something out of people. But really, I'm just trying to push the vision and push the message. Like, we all want the same thing. We all know what the Bay Area is lacking, and we all love music.
That's real. No, yeah, I was like, the one you said, like, the showing love thing, I think that's, like, the biggest, like, secret that no one gets or, like, wants to get is, like, everything that I've ever gotten was because I just showed love to people that I liked. Yep. I was like, oh, I fuck with your shit. And I just started sharing their shit, commenting, messaging them, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden they start fucking with you. And then, like, a little hole pops up. Right now, I was talking with Frosty right before the show started, and there's this guy that I just recently tapped into. His name's Yonix Jones. He's from San Jose, and I don't really know motherfuckers from San Jose. I know San Francisco, I know Berkeley, I know Oakland. Like, those are, and a little bit of Richmond. Like, those are like the places I can like walk in and walk out of with people I know. But like, I don't know shit about San Jose.
Right.
So this dude's really dope from San Jose, and I was just kind of like chopping it up with him a lot because I like him, and like he was like, he owns a shop called Tank Shop in San Jose. He's like,
sick.
Yo, come through and like let's blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, that's dope. All I had to do was talk to this dude like 5 times.
Yeah, exactly.
And now he wants to work with someone.
I feel like we could have an entire podcast just shouting people out.
Yeah,
like shouting people
that'd
out.
That'd be a really long one.
Yeah,
that have clothing lines, that have music, or even more importantly, like showing gratitude to the people that are helping us out. Because
people that hold the camera.
We might be leaders. Yeah, shout out Aaron, Escape from SF. We might be leaders amongst our own groups, but we have mentors and people that open doors and we look up to as well. So we could literally have a whole podcast just saying thank you to people.
Yeah, that's very, very
Which we
true.
should do one day. I think that would be dope.
Shit, yeah. We
The
definitely
gratitude episode.
Yeah, gratitude episode.
Gratitude.
We'll smoke, we'll get some food,
Also,
I love this person. Yeah, you just start shouting.
Yeah, because that's corny, right? Like
Yeah.
Bay Area culture. That's corny. It's corny to tell somebody you love them, especially male to male. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I totally understand it. I'm not, I'm not picking sides in any opinion war, but we want to break the narrative, right? Like, I want to be able to tell somebody that, give you their flowers. Like, I care about you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm in romantic love with you. And even if you are, cool.
It also takes,
Who gives a fuck?
It also just takes more than like yourself to do something, like I would never be able to make like all these clothes without like Frosty's help on a lot of stuff.
Right.
Frosty, I'm sure like you feel the same like about like helping me or helping you out with like music videos.
I mean, big part is music videos. Another part is just like when I'm sharing ideas, and it's like I kind of like without asking, I'm asking, is it smack or whack? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
because I always need like another ear. That's what I'm always saying is that like I didn't start getting good at like making music or like feeling good about the music I was making until I was around people who was like we had the same vision,
Right.
or at least we had, like you said earlier, where it's just like good energy like off the bat. And it's like
Yeah.
I've had that in Maryland, I've had that in the city, I've had that in the East Bay, and you know, being able to tie those things together, that's the only time when you start making things that are good. Like I can't, you know, I can listen to what I make a million times, but if I can't have someone else listen to it and be like, I didn't like that part, but the idea
This
is
part,
there, you know
though.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
without that, it's like, you know, either my feelings will get hurt a little too easily, or it's like the music that I'm making is just whack.
Yeah, that's very
That's a
real.
real friend when your friends are A&Rs in the making, because that's exactly what that is, right? And you got to be able to, you know, it's not like your boys should be saying, yo, that's fucking trash, you're terrible, like on a disrespectful level, but you got to be able to say like, yo, this isn't it, let's try it this way. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
don't just bring a problem, like bring a solution to the situation. But it's also important for you to not take it the wrong way, and that's where it gets it's easier when you work with people you actually trust.
Yeah.
Because like, when are you in a situation where you're working with an artist and you don't really know them and you want to tell them it's whack, but you're, you know, worried about risking the relationship? Like that's a fun bridge that you have to cross.
Yeah, no, that it takes a lot too. I've definitely had that too, where like people are like, "Oh, I didn't really like that you made this," or like, "This edit kind of sucked," or blah blah blah. And like sometimes like you kind of like the first thing you want to do is be like, "Well, fuck you too," but then you got to be like, "Wait a minute." This person's just giving me advice. Like, it's not the
Exactly.
biggest deal. Like, if anything, like, you can take it. You don't even have to take it if you don't like it. Like, you'd be like, never mind, I think this shit's cool. Like, I get what you're saying, but fuck you still.
But you could take it and run it in a different route. You feel me?
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
could say,
exactly.
"Oh, you said that. Damn, now I'm thinking about this. I don't even like. I like what I did, but not enough to the point where I have this whole new idea."
Definitely.
You have to be open and receptive to everything, like, and especially like in clothes and music. It's like, oh, well, you're not a rapper, what do you know what you're talking about? Well, that's our fans.
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally the audience telling you what they want to hear.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean you have to start singing like Whitney Houston and change your whole life if that was their opinion. But if they're telling you some shit, like, listen to
Listen
them.
to it a little bit.
And even if you don't agree with it, just ignore them.
So wait, how do you feel though? Like, because everyone's starting to ask us too. Like, how do you feel like about managing people like now? Because this is like your second year, I guess, technically, right?
Yeah, I definitely have done it off and on over the years, but this is like, now it's like 100% full time for sure. You can't work with everybody, right? You
Yeah.
can't tell everyone yes. Whether it's because you don't have enough time on your plate or what it is, but really you got to like get to know these people before you really work with them.
That's true.
I think Jean was the only one who I like randomly heard her sing on her story and then just slid in her DMs, but she had done like Rebel U, and I knew I could find information and get the insider stuff if I needed to, right? But
Yeah.
with everyone else I've worked with, it's like we've manufactured personal relationships, and most of the time they reach out to me, which started like I was surprised, right? Like that's a good thing, of course, but to me I take it from a place of gratitude and not ego, because that just kind of reinforces that, okay, we're on the right path. You know, we don't
Yeah.
need to be Grammy winning diamond artists or whatever right away, but we
The
have to work on
momentum
the
has
baby
started.
steps on the way
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And
I
to start to be,
agree.
and like people call me and they're like, oh yeah, I heard your name over here, and like PTSD, like me being a shitty teenager. I'm like, oh fuck, what are they saying? They're like, nah, like you're cool, like let's do something. And I'm like, oh shit, all right, cool, let's build on this positive momentum. Like I'm done feeling shitty and taking advantage of people or selling drugs or whatever anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wanna do something where I'm in a excited mood. Like I drove an hour and a half to be here today. I was fucking excited, listening to music the whole way here. Like that's when you know you're onto something for sure.
Yeah, gotta love what you do for sure. So like when like let's bring up, you said Gene, like I know you also recently signed up like Aaliyah on the team. I mean I kind of know the bare bones of what happened, but like if you want to explain it. First you met her at the AF show, didn't you? The Going Away
I
show?
think that was the first time we met, and then I saw her. I think she was at the FNG. We had that, or they had that music video release party, that like Baghead Callie and all them were doing. It was like in a
one in the
like the underground like warehouse abandoned shit that's or like parking garage looking shit. And then she came to Gene's show. Her, Ozer, and Jess all came to Gene's headlining show at El Rio, so I was able to kind of like, hey, we met at these places, or like, hey, we know each other online. Like, it's always funny. I have to be like, yo, I'm Tyler. They're like, what? I'm like, Elevated Innovation. I hate saying my online, but that's how we know each other. So it's like, I want to make that connection in person. So yeah, Aaliyah, we met just like a few times randomly, and I think she contacted me first to kind of meet, or whatever. Who cares how it started? But you know, we reached out, and it was just one of those organic things, and we met at, I was doing a So Far at Tiger's Tap Room that night.
Oh, it was at Tiger's Tap Room too?
Yeah, that's how I found the venue. Wow. And me and her met for some food before to talk management, and we went into business together. And then she wasn't going to go to the show. And then at the last minute, she's like, yo, I'm going to come by, you know, whatever. I want to, you know, see some music. Great. So there's 3 artists, and 2 of them didn't show up. One of them had COVID and didn't tell us, whatever, who cares? So then 20 minutes later, she's doing a 25-minute set and getting paid for it at So Far. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't do anything for her, right? But just the fact that happened, like, I'm all about the universe and putting us in right places. And she wasn't even supposed to be there, but then she was, and then made some money and doing what she loved to do. So that's what it's all about. So I got to keep whatever I'm doing right now, you know, not going out every night, not spending money recklessly, staying home when I need to, just like little tiny things like that is what really actually drives this, right?
Yeah,
what really drives this is like you working on yourself. And I think I've had to change a lot, you know, and be open more. You know, I was very reclusive by myself, whatever it was. So this has been a huge growing period and still growing for sure.
No, yeah, I definitely feel that. And also, I mean, like adding on to that like little layup you did for her, I feel like you kind of laid me up with the whole 10-15 thing, because I saw it and I was like, man, that'd be so cool. And I was thinking about it for a long time. I was like, damn, like this would be super cool, but I really don't have time to do it, like blah 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 blah. And then you randomly hit me up and you were all like, you need to do this, like blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just fill it out. And so I filled it out, and then I remember literally like you had told me before anyone else had told me, you were like, yeah, we're both in, like, don't say anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, shout out to 1015, Big Rich, Danielle, all of them, obviously. That's who I want to work with for the rest of my life, period. End of story. But I mean, I was in high school from 2007 and 2010, and you could say that was, you know, Rich's, I don't want to say peak, but that's when he was popping the most popping, right?
Yeah.
So he was always one of my favorite artists. And then just over the years, you know, I've stayed on Instagram or whatever in the last year. So I tell him this all the time. We always laugh. I was in his DM for years, a year or two, solid, just introducing myself, constantly sending them our profiles. And then finally, like a couple of months before they opened it, it was like August of last year, he responded. He's like, yo, I see you, like people are talking about you. Just wait, like, don't worry. And I like started sweating, like freaking out. I'm like, I'll work for free. And that's what it ended up being, was internship. But I for sure, like, again, that's my job as, you know, technically your manager. I always you're the only one I don't like, you know, introducing myself as, because you're already doing so much shit before me. But that's what I bring. I bring something different for Gene, Aaliyah, Pac, and you. Yeah. And for you, it's just opening up as many opportunities as possible, getting you vending everywhere, getting you whatever money flow or whatever we can, because you already have all your shit fucking popping.
Yeah.
But that's my job. Like, get in your head and push you, because if you don't do it, it's an automatic no. And if you were on the outside seeing what I'm doing, what we're doing, what everyone's doing over there, you would be
jaw-dropped,
depressed.
Seen it? Yeah,
for real. If you didn't end up going in, and
if I was missing out, yeah.
But you're one of the leaders of this shit. And when I talked to Rich at the networking event before we even picked the interns, he's like, "Nah, you and Adam are in. Like, what are you talking about?" And I was like, "Let's go. Like, let's get to work. I'm hungry."
For real. And it's crazy now too, because I mean, I know for a fact, like, Rich sees you as like a staple out of all of us, for sure. Like, out of the interns, he'll like always be like, "Well, like, Ty can always do this for me," you know what I mean? Like, you're such a leader in that group.
But I'm so insecure about my position. I'm not even gonna lie, and
that's fine.
And not necessarily because you guys have like given me a reason to. You guys have been nothing but supportive and pushing me and whatever. But in a way, like it keeps me humble. You know what I mean? It keeps
you
me
working
keeps
too.
me hungry. Like
Yeah.
the next big thing was probably the biggest thing that I've ever been a part of. And, you know, I was one of the people that helped lead that. You know, it wasn't just me. But after seeing that, like, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, this is what we exactly want to be doing,
Exactly.
right?
Rest of our lives,
We're changing people's lives and changing our own lives too. But I mean, I hope so. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm not afraid of the moment. You know what I mean? Give me the ball in the fourth quarter. When everyone else is quiet and we're getting yelled at, yell at me. Like, I can take it. I can take it. You know, Phil Jackson and Kobe didn't always get along, but they got the job done. Same with Michael and Scotty. And, you know, me and him always joke about that. You know, we're Scotty and Mike, and I'm okay being Scotty. Shit, I'll be Steve Kerr.
Shit,
like,
yeah.
That's the thing too. Is like I don't need to be the leader of everything we do.
Yeah, there just has to be a position to play.
Yeah, you know, everybody's got to play your role. When you're in charge, run that shit. But sometimes you have to defer.
Yeah,
but this
100%.
music industry shit is different, man. It's different. You need to be a wolf. You got to be a savage, at least when you're on the business side of it and the front lines of it. You know,
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, again, that means the whole world to me. You know, if I had feelings, I'd cry. But it really, like, every single day when I go to sleep, I think about shit like this, like people relying on me, people that I rely on. Like, we're sacrificing so much shit to do this for free, and I love it, and we love it, and all of us that are part of that group. So, I mean, it's a blessing. I mean, that's one of my favorite people and rappers of all time that I used to look up to, like, and we're working with him now.
Yeah,
And then the other artists that we can't mention yet that we're about to start working with are some of our favorite artists of all time when we were kids. Like,
Yeah.
We're living the dream, and we're doing it for free so far, which is still such a blessing.
It's surreal as fuck. Yeah, I've been like, I remember you actually told me who Rich was. I didn't know like Rich at all, because, you know, I came up in SoCal. Like, I grew up with like a whole different type of music. And then I remember one day, like, I think we were at what's it called, Speakeasy, and I see Big Rich getting pictures with everyone.
Yeah,
and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And then he's like, it's Big Rich.
Bro,
and I was like, who?
I
It's
can't
so
wait till
crazy.
Rich sees this.
Yeah,
Bro, hey,
I
shouts out to Big Rich. I ain't never talked to that man. I've made eye contact with him like a million times since like what, high school. No. But on some real, and I could tell like with the look in his eyes, like, you determined to do things for the people around you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you
That's
also
more
don't
like
have no time for no bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's cool because like watching y'all get super close to him is cool because I get to hear about him in like a different sense other than just like San Francisco legendary rapper, you know what I'm saying? One of the best to do it type shit. So it's like, you know, it's been a really cool experience for me to sit on the sidelines and soak about the game from y'all, because y'all like, you know, I'm like a sponge, but y'all are like the tidal wave. Y'all are just like, yep, it's all happening right now.
Right.
And it's happening in front of us.
And the
we
thing
riding
about
that shit.
the thing about him is like he's a community legend, and he, like you said, takes care of people and entire families. Whether you know it's just with opportunities or support or everything over the years. But the one thing that, you know, like you said, you might not see because it's in the media, he's one of the most intelligent human beings that I've ever been around and listened to him talk. And his eardrum is on the sidewalk, like his ears in the streets. Like when we see when we're choosing all these artists for the next big thing,
He already knew half.
he
of
knew
them.
everybody almost. And even if it was like you, he's like, oh, that's Frost and them. They're dope.
Seriously,
We're not ready yet, but keep going. You know what I mean? Like they're aware of all of you guys too. And whether they say, you know, positive or negative things about the music, it's just another testament to
How close they
their
keep it.
success. Like, you have to have the pulse. You know, they always tell us, like, you have to know Taylor Swift's numbers.
Yeah.
Even if you don't listen to her music, like, that's what you have to know.
Yeah.
Well-rounded.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is I was just thinking about this the other day. The whole, I don't know if you guys have seen like not Big Rich, but Rich the Kid has been like he's making headlines a whole bunch. And I was like, this motherfucker fell off like 2 years ago. Who did he sign to? Looked it up. He signed a new deal last month.
Yeah, there you
and I
go.
was like, oh, that's funny that I can figure that out now. Like, as an
Exactly.
A&R, I'm like, there's no way this would have happened unless he got a major deal.
And you know what to
Pretty
look for
solid.
now.
Yeah, exactly. Because now it's like they're like, you know, he's showing off like the littlest things, and it gets put on academics, World Stars,
Right.
Say Cheese, blah 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 blah, and it's just like none of this would have happened unless. Well, you know, I'm just saying
Right.
you can't peep.
You can
these
tell that
things.
he got a new infusion or worked with somebody. or
Exactly,
got-
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
That is weird and crazy to think about. Okay, for sure.
Perfect.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we're just gonna keep it going, keep it pushing. It is crazy to think about how far that we've gone in the past few years, especially like the past year.
Just this past 6 months.
Yeah, for all of us. I mean,
summer really, but the last year, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that stuff has really rubbed off on us too. Cause like now, like when I go to the studio for y'all, like I'm like, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, and then you guys are like, what the fuck? And I'm like breaking it down for y'all, and then you're like, oh, that's not a bad idea.
We're not just running around telling people what to do. We have intention behind it, and then we can break it down to you if you have an issue or a question about it, and that's the most important thing. You know, Pac said something the other day. He's like, man, you went to Puff Daddy in the group chat the other day, and I wasn't like yelling at anybody, but I was just, you know, being stern with my words and direction. And I go, because I'm setting expectations. Yeah. Now you know exactly what to do because I laid it out for you.
Yeah.
And I go, by the way, calling me Puff Daddy is the biggest compliment in the world, and that's exactly who I want to be like.
Deadass.
But it's the fucking intro on a song by French Montana called Nobody, and he goes, you're not really ready what you think. I'm going to paraphrase it. You're not really ready what you think you're ready for. You're not ready to walk into the darkest corner of the room and make your own light. Like, y'all ain't ready for this. What do you want to do? Do you want to sit with them or do you want to sit with God? And he was personifying the feeling of, you know, pursuing and fulfilling your dreams with God. And to me, that's exactly it, because there's nothing more omnipotent or powerful than when I put a show on. And and it's just like, anything that's ever bad happened, I don't feel it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you actually want to do? I don't want to work with people that do this as a hobby anymore.
Yeah, no.
And I don't care if you have 2 followers or you're just starting, but you need to be ready to do basically exactly what we're telling you, because we know how to put that work in.
Yeah, you got to take it seriously. If I had a fucking dollar, even fucking 5 cents for every time that someone was all like, I'm serious about it, but the last time they posted was in like 2018.
Yep.
Last time they dropped a song was in 2018. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you got to get the fuck out of my face.
Shout out to Pussy. He was the first artist, at least like recently, I've worked with where I'm like, I reached out and like, we're getting, you know, let's meet up. He's like, all right, cool, execute it. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, I'll fucking actually pick a date and time and make it happen. Like, because most people are like, let's work together. And nobody follow throughs or executes. Yeah. So I say it every time now, like, don't hit me up unless you're ready to execute. I'm free on this day, that day, and that time.
Yeah.
We're too busy.
That is pretty
real.
But
we want to do it. All right, I got to go.
Yeah. All right. Well,
hey, that's the game right there.
We can end it a little early and then keep it going for the next one.
Shut